Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for your time. Welcome to our Breakfast Club call. If this is your first time on, welcome. If you are coming back to join us, welcome back. I remember my first time when I got started in entrepreneurship, I was looking forward to these calls. And not only was I looking forward to these calls because of the information I was going to receive, I was looking forward to these calls for the inspiration I was going to receive, because I've always been very aware that garbage in is garbage out and greatness in is greatness out. And how we start our day sets the tone for our day. So kudos to each and every single one of you guys. Shout out to our amazing hostess with the mostest this morning, Miss Sugeny Guzman. And I'm going to share with you guys something that I'm grateful for, because she said, hey, what is something you're grateful for today? I'm grateful for each and every single one of you guys. I am grateful for provision and peace. We just had a storm here in Tampa that we literally dodged a bullet by the grace of God. So I am grateful for all of that. Absolutely. And I'm grateful for each and every single one of you guys. Grateful for the amazing time we did have in the Dominican Republic. Oh my goodness. That was a trip. So if you're brand new and you have no idea what I'm talking about, so we had what is called a all agents destination trip. And the cool part about this trip was I've been on a lot of trips in my lifetime, but it's just a little different when they're like paying for you to go. It's a little different, okay? Like everything was paid for. The fact that when we checked in, we had not only a welcome reception, they had welcome drinks, they had welcome food for us. And it's so funny because our great friend and leader, Maximo Laura, was like, man, did you see those people try to get some of our food and they kicked them out? I was like, yeah, that was funny, right? Because we had the most exclusive VIP treatment and service. And this is not my first time at the Hard Rock Punta Cana. In fact, this is my third time there. And I swear third time was definitely a charm. And it was just an amazing experience. We didn't even have to put a credit card down when we checked in, which was so weird to me because that's never been the case to me when I travel. But it was such a beautiful experience. Shelly and Navis and Tawny and our entire corporate, Kaylee, and all of our staff, it was just phenomenal. We definitely party different. I would tell you guys that. Yes, Suhani, the phone party was amazing. It's like a big kid adult bubble bath. But it was so much fun. Super grateful. So as we get started this morning, what we wanted to talk about today was really and truly having a different perspective, right? We're going to talk about transformational leadership. And if you were with us 2 weeks ago, we spoke about, the pretty much not really like the enemies in network marketing, but the things that people go through in this industry that really just does not help them grow, that really just does not help them, prosper, but really just the things that you have to kind of look out for when you are building in this business, when you are pretty much doing the things each and every single day that you need to do. So when we're talking about transformational phases of a leader, if you are taking notes takers are history makers, there's a few phases we're going to talk about. And the first one, and the reality is that when we talk about, transformational leadership, it's also very important to know that our purpose has phases. And the word phase, right, it simply means a stage in a process of change or development, meaning on your path to becoming a leader, there are different phases that you just go through. And part of our strength comes from properly identifying the phase that we're in. Like seasons, we may find ourselves returning to the first phase, and we'll get into that, reminding ourselves of initially what draw us to our mission, or doubling down on the third phase. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, finding fresh strategies to continue forward momentum. But wherever you find yourself, just be encouraged, because you'll always be in the process of leadership, because leadership is a process. It's not a destination. So as we visit these phases, number one is encounter your purpose. Phase one is encounter your purpose. And distance creates distortion while proximity brings perspective. And one of the really great things when it comes to leadership and when it comes to this business and even this trip, right? Distance creates distortion while proximity brings perspective. Proximity equals power. One of the greatest things on this trip was this conversations. I had so many great conversations with Carrie Joe and Cassie Patassi and Lisa and Denise and Jared and Comizio Jada and Maximo Laura, and the list goes on and on and on. Like I can go on and on and on. And proximity is power is so true. And that is why it brings perspective, because a lot of times you may be enduring something as a leader or growing through something as a leader, and you find yourself in a space where you're just like, I don't really know if I can lean on my own understanding. And that distance creates distortion when you are in that phase of encountering your purpose. And the proximity brings perspective, because not only does it bring power, right, because of the conversations and all of these things, but also it brings perspective because it reminds you of your purpose. It reminds you of the greatness that you do have. It does remind you of the things that you are capable of. It does remind you of your why, right? It does remind, like, your purpose may change at different times in your life. I remember when I first got started in entrepreneurship, I felt like my purpose was really just to make my mom's life better. That was really just my purpose. I felt that I just owed her so much because she had done so much for us as a single mom, that I was like, man, whatever I got to do, like, my purpose is to make that lady's life easier. Cause man, I have made it hard in my teens. Right? Can anybody relate? I was that child. I was a straight A student, but my mouth could not stay quiet. Kind of the same thing right now, right? Things don't change that much. You just grow a little bit more. But, we keep it real on here. So it was interesting because, as I embarked upon entrepreneurship, I understood that my purpose was more, it was more about we and less about me. It was more about me and impacting people's lives. It was more about me making people remember their power. It was more about making people encounter that level of greatness that they have within themselves, making people understand that they can do anything that they put their minds to not only to impact those people's, but it really inspire. And the more that you're in the thick of it, right? The more that you are working on your dreams, the more that you are working on your goals in every aspect of your life, you're going to see that proximity is going to always bring you a fresh perspective. Because yes, it's going to be powerful who you are around, because it's going to remind you of your power because of not only who you are, but whose you are. But it also is going to keep you marching kind of not only in your own lane, but really that's what your purpose does. Your purpose. And if you ever are struggling, like, well, Pam, I don't really know what my purpose is. What are you passionate about? What do you think the most of? What is something that you would do if somebody didn't pay you to do it? Like, what would that look like for you? So again, encountering your purpose is the first phase of transformational phases of a leader, because the more aware, right? Awareness is key. The more aware you are of what your purpose is, of where you're at, it's going to give you better direction into where you're going. Does that make sense? Yes. Awesome. Type it in the chat. Make sure you're sending it to all panelists and attendees, right? But yeah, so making sure that when you are in that space that you're like, man, I need to encounter my purpose. Again, proximity brings perspective. Distance creates distortion. And you never want to be that person that's like, man, because of the distance, because I'm not working on this every single day, it's not, I'm not able to find what my purpose is. And I will tell you, my brother is the best. Shout out to him. Bring me coffee this morning. All right. We are out of energy, but we got some on the way. But anyway, so that is so important. And sometimes maybe you're like in a season where you're just like, man, I don't really know, Pam, what my purpose is. And I know I'm passionate about this, but I'm also passionate about that. And I don't really know, but I'll tell you this, the more you work on your dreams, the more you work on your dreams, the more you work on your goals, the more you work on that which sets your soul on fire, you will encounter your purpose. And at certain times in your life, your purpose and your why will change. Like I mentioned to you, my why when I first got started was one thing, and my why today is another thing. My purpose, I feel like, is not only to inspire and to impact people's lives, but really to allow people to live their best life. This is one of the reasons that I will never stop doing what we do, because man, people need these type of experiences, right? Lisa, right, Denise, they need that type of experiences, right, Kim? Of us in DR, living our best life. Like they need those type of experiences with their parents. They need those type of experiences with the people that they love, because memories last for a lifetime. So phase one, encountering your purpose. And when it comes to you, when you're integrating it into this business, understand that sometimes you may feel that my purpose is to help people, whether they want to grow. I want to help people become personally developed. I have an obsession, if you've spent any time around me, I have an obsession with helping people become the best versions of themselves, right? And sometimes if it may come across as anything else, but that really is what it is, because I understand that the more you grow, the more you know. And it's the more that you are intentional about where you're going, the more that you are intentional about what you're doing each and every single day, and it's going to give you a fresh new perspective, because again, that proximity is going to not only bring power, but it's going to bring perspective at any season in your life that you may find yourself in. So if you are at a point that you're like, man, I don't even know how to encounter my purpose, just take some time to be still, take some time to reflect on why, take some time to reflect on why, what matters to you, right? What hurts you? What has you waking up in the middle of the night? What has you getting up every single morning, perhaps to a job that you don't even care to go to, right? Because it's bigger than just you. It has to be bigger than just money. Maybe your purpose is helping people become free. So there are so many different ways that we can go about that. But again, in that phase one of transformational phases of a leader is encountering your purpose. Again, distance creates distortion. I know a few people are just joining us. Welcome. Distance creates distortion while proximity brings perspective. Number two, establish your beliefs. Phase two is establishing your beliefs. So now that you've encountered your purpose, your beliefs determine your behavior. See, Muzaffar trained about this on our all agent webinar on Tuesday night that we hosted. And it was talking about, highlighting a story of Black Mamba. Shout out to Black Mamba and a few of her teammates that this guy, I believe his name is Jeremy. If I'm not mistaken, if I butchered your name, please don't kill me. Right. But he basically hit 25-25 squared bonus in 29 days. He hit 5-5 in 5 days, 10-10 in 10 days, and 25-25 in 29 days. Beliefs determine your behavior. And it's that level of belief that he had not only in this business, it's the level of belief that he had in his purpose. It's also the level of belief that he had in this opportunity, the level of belief that he had in this leadership, the level of belief that he knew that, man, I got a support system behind me. That determines your behavior. You mean to tell me somebody that his wife had to work 3 hours away from where they live, would drive 6 hours, 3 to and from, just to come back to do another presentation, to go show people? Why? Because even though they make great money, they understand that it's not about the right now. Their belief is freedom. Their belief is impact. Their belief is growth. And when your level of belief is at a higher level, it determines your behavior, because you're going to keep going until is going to look different for everybody. That level of behavior is going to look different for everybody. And a lot of times when we're working in this business, or we're just working on a business period, we're like, well, my business isn't where I want to go at. Well, how has your belief been determining your behavior on those business goals? Because if you haven't showed anybody your business in the last month, in the last week, in the last 2-3 weeks, it doesn't tell me that your belief is up there. And again, that proximity equals power, because sometimes you believe, but because you're not around the right people or tuning into the right audience or tuning into the right things that help you grow, right? Your behavior isn't aligned with what your belief system is. Because guess what? We all go through it, right? And this is why these communities and these calls are important, because it not only helps you build this business, but build yourself up. You don't build this business, you build people up, and people build this business, but your beliefs determine your behavior. The reason why Jeremy was able to hit 25 in 29 days was because he believed his leadership. He also believed in the product. He believed in Isaac. He believes in the opportunity of freedom for his family. And as a travel nurse, like, his wife makes bank, right? They're both very successful, very, very financially stable, but they understand that their belief is freedom. So that freedom, that desire, that burning desire for freedom, that burning desire for impact, it determines your behavior. So I ask you, what are your beliefs that are shaping your behavior, that are shaping the action that you do take or do not take when it comes to this business, when it comes to you building your dreams, when it comes to you building your dream life? So it's very important for you to just be mindful and take a minute to just say, hey, what are my beliefs? Because that belief system is the foundation that is going to determine how you behave. Are you registered for training? Do you believe in our training system? The regional training event is taking place September 16th in a city near you. Maybe you're that person that's like, man, I want to have more people at every city. I get it. Me too. Here's a quick hack. Go onto your Facebook. If you do not have Facebook, I'm sorry. This is for my Facebook users. Okay. Go onto your Facebook, and on there, you can type my friends that live in Tampa. Who are my friends that live in Jersey? Who are my friends that live pretty much anywhere? You can type that. My friends that live in Wichita, Kansas. My friends that live in Arizona. My friends that live in Canton, Ohio. My friends that live anywhere. So you could pretty much look on there and say, hey, I'm just going to look piece by piece, city by city, because what belief do you have in our training system? What belief do you have in our trainers that they're going to be able to not only teach your people, but impact them? Because that's going to drive your behavior to get people to the SRT, to the RTE. Sorry. We've changed the name of it quite a few times. Secret regional training event, regional training event. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's important. So if you are taking notes, again, transformational phases of a leader. Number one, phase one is encountering your purpose. Distance creates distortion, while proximity brings perspective. Phase two, establishing your beliefs. Your beliefs determine your behavior. Number three, equip your skill set. Ooh, say it louder. Equip your skill set. God does not make you one way to use you another way. What do I mean by that? Your gifts will always make room for you, right? You have skill sets that I do not possess, and vice versa. And the more that you are aware that you have certain skill sets that are priceless, that you have certain gifts that are always going to make room for you, that they're always going to precede you, right? Your behavior is going to follow accordingly, because you also understand that it's like, man, how can I nurture those gifts? Because it comes back to, are you around the right people that are saying, hey, I want to nurture these gifts because I understand that the best people are going to bring the best out of me. And sometimes, right? Sometimes as you're building this business, as you're equipping your skill set, one of the greatest things that we need to equip with beyond our skill set is our mindset, because your mindset is where your mind sits. And a lot of times you may be brand new to this business. You may have never done a business like this, but this is a people business. So if you are at a place that you're just like, well, I don't really know if I have all of the skill sets. I don't even really know how can I feed those gifts, it's saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to make sure I'm at training. Like you just said, because yeah, your beliefs determine your behavior, but I also know that I need to nurture these gifts. And I also know that me not doing anything is not going to nurture those gifts. And I also know that if I'm just stuck in my ways and I don't want to grow, it's not going to help me go where I need to go, where God wants to take me. Because yes, your gifts will make room for you, but you will also self-sabotage them if you're not in a space that you're willing to grow, that you're willing to learn, that you're willing to tap into that next level, because you got to equip your skill set. But you have to also understand that if there is always room for growth, we are all growing each and every single day. And that is why, yes, Lisa, I agree. He is multidimensional God and has made us to be multidimensional people. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's important for you to say, hey, you know what? I may not necessarily know all of these things, but I know this person does, right? I know that person does. Like, I love being able, we were talking about the conversations at our all agents destination were priceless. I had the honor, pleasure, and privilege of sitting at the dinner table on our farewell dinner with Muzaffar and Fozia, his wife, and with Jesse Mack and his wife, Daphne, and their beautiful daughter, Phoenix Michelle. She is such a star. She is such a cutie. And also with Rob and Trisha Versera. So it was so many great conversations. And of course, Miss Delicia Powell, so many great conversations at that table, but it was just making you better, because it's just making you aware, and you understand that none of us are perfect. But when you're around the right people that actually know you and can see the real you, the authentic you, they know that we're all in a season of constant and never-ending improvement. But being around the right people, it allows your gifts to flourish. It allows your skill sets to grow even further, because it is going to allow you to learn always from a different perspective. Because again, that proximity brings perspective, right? That proximity equals power. So make sure that you're equipping your skill set in this business and in life. The attitude always comes before the paycheck. If you knew everything you needed to know, you'll be already where you needed to go. If you think that the team you have right now is the team that is going to take you to the next level, I'm sorry, you're not. If that was the team that was going to take you to the next squared bonus, to the next rank, to the next level, you would already be there. You would already be there, right? So it is one of those things that it's equipping your skill set onward and upward. Are you registered for training September 16th? Are you registered for Elevate in New Orleans, October 27th through the 29th? Here's the reality. I've seen people that had a background of felonies. I've seen people, believe it or not, I've seen people that have had, the worst socioeconomic conditions. I've seen people that have come from families that never had anything. I've seen people that have completely transformed their life. And I mean beyond financial. And I'm talking about people that weren't making more than $200 a week to going upwards of making $20,000 in a month. But guess what? I didn't see any of those people do it without going to training. Training is non-negotiable for people that want freedom. Training is non-negotiable for people that want to truly equip their skill set. Because again, it's not about me, it's not about you, it is about we. So I will tell you that this is why we say, hey, if people don't go to training, they're going to quit. Because before people quit in the back office, and if you don't know what that means, it's okay. Before people pick up the phone and call corporate to say, hey, I want to quit my account, I want to cancel my account, they already quit here. They already quit in here. So it's knowing, hey, how can I equip my skill sets? How can I grow my mindset? How can I get a fresh perspective? How can I be around the right people? The skill sets necessary to grow in this business are very, very simple, right? However, it's doing it. Like we were talking about phase 2, your belief determines your behavior. It's mastering the mundane over and over and over and over again. So when you know that, yes, God does not make you one way to use you another way. It's also knowing that that proximity equals power. And the more you learn, the more you earn. And the greater you become, the greater impact you'll be able to have in people's lives, in their businesses, in their, not only in their financial freedom, but in their legacy. That is so powerful. It is so powerful. And the more you equip your skill set, the more you will learn that this business is a game of inches. It's not so much, yes, inviting, right? It's we have a very simple system, IC, right? It's inviting, it's sharing the information, whether you're sharing the information on a presentation, whether you're sharing the information on a conversation, whether you're sharing the information on a video, whether you're sharing information via a product demonstration, whether you're sharing the information at a spa party, whether you're sharing the information, however you're sharing the information, right? Then after you invite, you share, then you enroll them, right? You get them started, you put them in a system, right? Put them in the system. And then the last one is educate. It's a very simple system, I see. Inviting, sharing, enrolling, and educating. But here's the reality. A lot of people miss that educating part. And it's mind-boggling to me because it's like, yeah, well, my business is not growing. And I'm like, yeah, when's the last time you grew? And it really is that. And the reality is that if training was something that was not important, we would not be spending hundreds upon thousands of dollars in putting together the production that we put together for our training events. If you realize we got more cities coming up September 16th than we did the last training that we had in June. Why? Because we are growing. So a lot of you, your beliefs are determining your behavior. Kudos to each and every single one of you that say, hey, no, I'm going to grow this market. Yeah, I know I have a full-time job, but I'm still growing my market. I know I have a part-time job, but I'm still growing my market. Shoot, I know I'm retired, but I'm still growing my market. Right, Lisa? Absolutely. So there's levels to equipping your skill set, but it's also understanding that the less you make it about you, the less you make it about me, and the more you make it about we, you understand that empowering those skill sets are really non-negotiable because it really and truly means freedom. All of these people, I've seen so many thousands of people have so much success and around the globe, and this success has allowed them to grow tremendously. But the reality is I've seen none of them do it without going to training. So if you want to grow and you want to nurture those skill sets and you want to equip your skill sets, you got to equip your mindset. The attitude will always come before the paycheck. As you often hear us say, you empty out your wallet into your mind, and then your mind will eventually fill your wallet. Number 4, empowering others. Oh, this is good. What transforms in you is meant to build others around you. Let's say that again. What transforms in you is meant to build others around you. And what does that mean is because a lot of times you may be going through a test that you're like, man, I can't wait to get to the other side of that testimony, right? But God is using it to build other people around you. And a lot of times your experiences are going to not only allow you to grow, but allow you to make other people better, allow other people to have a different belief system. Because the reality is that life will always be life, right? Life will always be life. Like, we will always go through things that we cannot control. And that's why I was like, control the controllables, right? Control what you can do. A lot of you guys are like messaging me. Thank you guys so much. Like, sis, I know you just got caught in a hurricane and it looks crazy in Tampa. Are you okay? Is your family okay? I know you were stuck in Puerto Rico. Man, it has been a crazy 3 days, right? We had to put my puppy of 16 and a half years to rest on Monday, and I had to say bye on FaceTime. And I was like, everything going on, I was just trying to get home. I didn't even take time to process my emotions. And yesterday on my flight back home, I was just like, oh my God, it just hit me. And I will tell you that there's just a lot of things that will happen in you, that will happen in your life, that it's transforming you to build other people around you. And a lot of times when you're in the thick of it, you have no idea why. You're like, okay, God, I know heavy is the head that wears a crown, but my head is hurting a little bit. Like, oh no, right? But it's certain things that you're just like, when you understand that it always is a greater purpose, that God always has a greater mission for you, that it is always better is ahead. And it is so refreshing because you understand that it's like, God, what you're doing in me, what you're doing in what you're transforming is for your greater good, is to help somebody else, is to build others around you. The way that my faith is set up, right? One of my best friends, you guys know Delisa Powell is my sister, right? Her mom had a stroke a few weeks ago. Please keep Delisa and her mom in your prayers. And I will tell you that I never understood why God put me through a lot of the things that he put me through. I question a lot. My mom became my angel 2 years ago, and I was struggling for a very long time, just questioning why. And I didn't understand. And there's so many instances that happen that I'm like, oh, okay, God, so you're using my strength for that person. Oh, okay, so you're using what I went through, what I grew through, what I endured to help somebody else. And the way that, my faith and my strength has been perfected, it's because I have been able to say, hey, I'm very weak in this area. And he has been able to give me strength in my weakness. But also it's through that process, that transformation inside of me, that it's helped me now help be there for other people. The level of faith and belief, it's helped me to be able to say, hey, no worries, Didi, your mom's going to be great. It doesn't matter. I know God can do all things but fail. And the level of certainty and the level of faith that I'm able to have is because I know that God works out everything for our good. And I can come from a place of certainty, from a place of belief. And it's the same thing that happens in this business. There's a lot of times, sometimes your upline will quit. Sometimes your people will quit. And you're just like, man, I don't even understand what is that? And it was because those people weren't going to lead you where God wanted to take you, right? And what was going on inside of you was to help build other people around you. And I'm grateful because it also shows you, we talk about this all the time on our Breakfast Club call. We're like, listen, the greatest thing about this is the people you meet. The worst thing about this is the people you meet. It's just the reality. But a lot of times people are showing you who you don't want to be like. People are showing you like, man, I'm glad I grew from that. I'm glad that God did something to transform that of which was not serving me, because I knew that now I get to build others when they're embarking upon their journey of entrepreneurship, when they're embarking upon their journey of life. Because what transforms in you is meant to build others around you. Empowering others, and that phase 4 of transformational leadership is beyond us, right? That's not only applicable in business, that's applicable in every aspect of our life, So it's always knowing, it's like, okay, God, you know what? I'm always at a place that humble me, kill my ego, kill my flesh, because I know ego is edging God out. And I just want to be able to grow, to empower others. So whatever you're doing, I trust you, because it's either I'm going to trust you all the time or I'm going to trust you none of the time. Right. And I choose to trust him all the time. It just works out better like that. Right. My life has just worked out better in that sense. But empowering others. Have you empowered somebody lately with your story? Have you empowered somebody lately by something that has transformed in you? And I will tell you, sometimes it's a struggle. If I'm being honest, it took me some time to get to that point that I could even open up about my journey, that I can even open up about the traumas that I had to heal from, right? But because I was from a place of vulnerability, because I was able to come from a place of, I get it. It may not be the exact same story, right? But I get it. It's to build others around you. I have zero doubt in my mind that I know I was put on this earth to empower, to inspire, to impact people's lives, to lead, to allow people to remember that they have greatness within them, that they can do anything that they put their mind to, that, you know, where God has taken you and he has enlarged your territory and where he has authorized your victory, nobody and nothing can ever come against. And when you're ready, man, can nothing stop it, right? Because can nothing stop him. But being aware is key. Are you empowering others with your story? Are you empowering others with your journey? Have you been able to say, hey, I get it, right? Empowering others, building people around you. That stuff that didn't kill you, that made you stronger. Are you sharing that story to build others around you? Great question, right? Something to ponder on for sure. So, transformational phases of a leader. Phase 1, encountering your purpose. Distance creates distortion while proximity brings perspective. Phase 2, establishing your beliefs. Your beliefs determine your behavior. Phase 3, equipping your skill sets, right? God does not make you one way to use you in another way. The more you know, the more you grow, right? The more you learn, the more you earn. Making sure that you're registered for training September 16th, secretdirectevents.com. Sugeny, if you could please type that in the chat, or Lisa, greatly appreciate y'all. Number 4, empowering others. What transforms in you is meant to build others around you. And understand this, change is something you do, but transformation is something you become. Change is something you do, but transformation is something you become. So wherever you find yourself, be encouraged that you will always be in a process, because leadership is not a destination. It's a process, and you're strengthened in that process. Diamonds got to be put through a lot, right? And y'all all are diamonds on this call. So take time to reflect this week on what phase you find yourself in. Give yourself some grace, but trust and believe with every fiber in your being. The best is yet to come. I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you at the regional training event. Send them to Tampa. We are about to light it up out here, okay? Send them to a city near you. Make sure you guys go on to your Facebook, like I told you guys, see who do you know in a city near you? Who do you know that lives in Wichita, Kansas? Who do you know that lives in Canton, Ohio? Who do you know that lives in Chicago? Who do you know that lives in Atlanta? Who do you know that lives in Phoenix? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? Get them there, because I promise all of us trainers, we are going to give people the goods. Goods. Okay. Breakfast has been served. Thank you, Sugeny, for hosting this morning. I love you so much. Thank you, each and every single one of you guys. Have a great day. Let's get it.